What is good, everybody? We're going to talk about CQB today. And I hesitated to even make this video for two reasons. One, you probably shouldn't be doing CQB because you're going to die. And two, CQB is a very controversial topic that everybody on the internet absolutely loves to talk about. But in the name of completion, we will discuss it. So, in CQB, for a really long time, to include even to this day, a lot of people are taught the tactic of rushing bodies into a room. So the idea being that surprise and speed, remember, we have surprise, maneuverability, and violence are what we can utilize to win a gunfight. So in CQB gunfights, they thought it was best to utilize speed and surprise. The idea being that your bad guys in here sitting on the couch watching TV. The SWAT team is going to blow the door in, and they're all going to rush in super duper quick. And these guys are going to be on the couch. They're going to be like, oh my God. And the fight's going to be won before a shot has to be shot because of all of the speed and surprise of the SWAT or the Navy SEAL team. Okay? And a lot of times that works in those environments with SWAT teams and Navy SEAL teams because a lot of the people that they encounter aren't even fighting back in the CQB environment, right? Because yeah, if it is a surprise one-off hit that nobody saw coming and you've been practicing and planning for a really long time, and especially on like the law enforcement side, I know fighting the cops extra fucks me in the legal system, then I'm probably just not even going to resist. I was probably going to put my hands up no matter what. So then they get all these W's and they think that that's how you do CQB. And then when you go fight an actual war with an entrenched enemy and you do CQB that way where you just rush bodies into the room, you get fucked up. Okay, so don't do that. Attack from the outside before you enter the room. What that looks like right, is you're going to pan this. You're going to step out without entering the room, and you're going to pan it and observe or pre-fire or frag it or possibly stun grenade it, flashbang it, right? Probably going to pan it a couple times and deal with any threats that you can see in here. Because when you start to pan this, right, you can see all the way into this room, and then as you're panning it, you're looking and looking and looking and looking all the way here. So the only pieces of the room you can't see are these. And sure, maybe somebody is there, which is why when we enter the room, we're going to do it proficiently and we're going to attack it with speed and intensity. And we'll talk about all that in a second. But we're going to hope that if there's a bad guy here, I can deal with that. We can have this gunfight right here. Okay, and even if I lose that gunfight and I go down right here, I want to go down here so my guys can drag me out and we can frag the shit out of this room or shoot through the walls or whatever the case is, right? That's a lot better than coming in here and having two casualties in this room, and now the rest of our team is out here like, oh shit, there's still a bad guy in that room. And we can't just fuck this room up because we have two of our dudes in here. And we can't just leave this site because we have two of our dudes in here. So now we have to continue to send dudes through this doorway while they're just getting tore the fuck up. We have no options anymore. We have to at least recover these guys, and we can't just throw grenades in there. So even if there's a bad guy and we're going to have a gunfight, We want that gunfight to happen in the hallway. Wonderful. So, we're not going to pile a bunch of bodies into rooms. We're going to pan the doorway and deal with threats from the outside. Now, depending on the setting, is going to depend on the level of violence we use on that pan, right? If this is the zombie apocalypse and we are just scavenging for supplies, we're not going to go around pre-firing every corner and every couch and every refrigerator we see, because 99% of the time there's just going to be empty rooms. If we're going to do a hostage rescue situation or a family extraction or something, and we don't even plan on there being hostiles in there, but we still want to have good tactics about us, we're definitely not going to be pre-firing anything, right? We're definitely not going to be throwing frags. But if this is Ukraine and we're clearing out Spetsnaz from a concrete building, then you best fucking believe we're going to throw 2 or 3 frags into that room and dump a mag into it before we make entry, even if we don't see anybody. Because it fucking sucks to get shot at when you're walking through a doorway. All right. Now that I've covered all those points pretty thoroughly, let's talk about actually doing it. How do we actually clear rooms? Now that we've talked about rushing bodies in and pre-firing and whether we can or whether we cannot. All right. So this is a basic room. It's a center-fed room. The doorway comes into the center. We're going to talk about clearing this with 2 guys. All right. As I said, one man is going to pan this probably twice. Okay. And then he's going to lock on and he's going to say, I'm ready. And then it's on 2 guy. One man is stuck, focused on the door guy. So it's 2 man that's going to control the rest of the stack, right? If I have a big stack here with 4 dudes or whatever, it's still the number 2 guy that's controlling it. He's going to give a shoulder squeeze to say he's ready to go to the 1 man. They're going to start going pretty much simultaneously. There's 2 ways you can enter a room. You can cross into the room. You're going to cross into the room, check your corner, and then come back and work up like that. The other way is to button hook. You come in here, hit that door jamb, check your corner, work back up the wall and into the room. All right? Whatever the 1 man does, the 2 man does opposite. Whatever the 2 man does, the 3 man does opposite. Whatever the 3 man does, the 4 man does opposite, right? So if 1 man crosses, 2 man's gonna button hook, which means 3 man's gonna cross, which means 4 man's gonna button hook. And they'll end in the room like this, right? So you come into the room, check your corner, and you turn your gun back into the room, and you work up the wall. Pretty simple. Crossing, button hooking. Check your corners. Don't get stuck in them. Point your muzzle back into the room. Work up the wall. Center-fed room. The other thing we can do here is we can run a split stack, right? Whether maybe we do 1 pan like this, and then we split stack it like that. And then these 2 dudes communicate whoever's going to go first and when they're going to go, and then they just go. And so we're going to do the same thing now because we want to hit opposite corners. So if he's going to that corner, that means I have to go to this corner. Come back around, work up the wall. Make sense? That's a split stack. We can run a split stack like this. There's a variety of reasons why this might happen. I'm not going to go over it right now. But then same thing, right? He's going to go, and then he's going to go, and then he's going to go, and then he's going to go. They're going to come in, check their corners, work up the wall. Come in, check their corners, work up the worm. Work up the room. Wonderful. All right. What do I do if the room isn't center fed? If I come into a doorway and there's just a big wall there, right? Say I'm the 1 man and I didn't see into this room and the door opens and I go in and I was going to cross all the way across, but I literally face a wall. Well, I'm just going to look up that wall. I've already checked my non-existent corner, and I'm going to come up the room like this. And then the 2-man is going to button hook like he was already going to, check his corner, come back around. 3-man's going to come up the wall like that. 4-man's going to come in, check their corner, come into the room like that. So again, if you come in and there's a short wall here, right? Same thing if it's just a tiny wall like that. You're going to come in. Oh, see if that's a short wall. The only option you have in the correct answer is just to work up that wall you're right on to allow the rest of the stack to come through. What we don't want is to clog this doorway. Get the fuck out of the doorway. Good guys are trying to come through the doorway and bad guys are shooting at the doorway. Get the fuck out of the doorway. All right. All right, so say we're working a hallway. The best way to work a hallway is to run a split stack. 1 stack on each side of the hallway, right? So each time you come up to a doorway, no matter what side of the hallway it is, both stacks are gonna hold because you don't want to cross past an uncleared threshold because you might get shot, all right? So both are gonna stop. And then whoever is on the door side, this side it's right team, they're going to send 2 dudes in. Goodness. So these 2 dudes are going to come in and clear this room. As they do that, the rest of the stack is going to push up. They're going to hold at the next doorway. Then left is going to send 2 dudes in to clear that room. Then the whole stack is going to push up and they're going to hold. After these guys clear this room, they're going to call room clear. And then they're going to come back out into the hallway, right? To allow these guys to come in and clear this room. To allow the stack to pull up. And then it'll hold. And these guys come in and clear this room. And then the stack pushes up. And these guys clear that room so they can come out. And these guys clear this room so they can come out. So on and so forth down the hallway. Again, we run 2 stacks down the hallway. Every time we come up to a door, right? So if there's a door on this side, but not on that side, both are going to stop because we don't want to come this way like that and get shot through that doorway. That would be a bummer. So we're going to hold back, let this team clear. Once those guys go into that room, we can push up to the next doorway on whatever side. So it's just a constant flow, 2 stacks down the hallway, dudes going into clear rooms, dudes coming out of rooms that are cleared. Awesome. All right. If we have a T hallway, it's a hallway, so we're probably running split stack. We're going to be using cross coverage when we come up to it, right? Because it's much easier for me to see all the way down here than if I was trying to peek like that. I could barely see any of the hallway, right, before having to expose myself. So I can look much better down that way. Okay, so they're going to be covering. He's covering that way. He's covering that way as much as they can till they get to the limit of advance. And then they're going to communicate with each other. And at the same time, both of these stacks are going to pivot and they're going to go. They're going to go out like that and they're going to come out like that. And then they're going to go down and clear those hallways. All right? Again, we're cross covering. We're coming up as much as we can until the last minute when we can't anymore. We're gonna hold and we're gonna communicate that with each other. And then whenever we decide to go with communication, we're gonna very rapidly turn ourselves out and come out. At the same time, our 2 men are gonna follow us, cut that corner tight, come down and clear that hallway. All right, if there's just 2 guys, we're gonna come out like this, cross coverage until the last second. We can't communicate it. 1, 2, 3, go. Come out on that hallway like that. All right. So, if you come up to a door and it's there, it's closed, it's not open, right? So we've kind of been talking about, oh, if you come up and the doorway is open, you can do this whole pan operation. If the door's closed, we're gonna have to breach it. First, we're gonna wanna physically come check that door handle. The door might just be open and we can just swoosh that door open and then do our pan, okay? The door might be locked, at which point we're gonna have to cross over and kick it, right? To get it to swish open, and it'll swish open. At that point, you're gonna roll out whoever kicked it, and then the second guy now becomes 1 man, and he can kind of pan it and come back, and now we're back on our split stack and do whatever. All right. If it's for real locked, then we're gonna have to do some sort of breach, explosive breach, shotgun breach, mechanical breach with a sledgehammer or hooligan tool. Whatever the case is, once we've defeated that doorway and gotten it open, then we're just back to the open door protocol. There are very, very few situations, and you probably aren't gonna be in one of them, where I would want to like blow this door and again, rush a bunch of dudes in here on that explosion, right? Maybe like in a hostage rescue situation where we know the hostages are in this room but not close to the doorway, and we know that we have the drop on them. See, that's the thing. In any infantry, grunt, regular dude, or guerrilla force, CQB, you're not going to be surprising anybody. They're going to know you're there. They're going to expect you coming. You're going to be fighting an entrenched enemy, hiding in the corner. Trying to swoop into the room all quick is going to do nothing other than get your whole fucking team shot up. Cool. So that's doors. If they're closed, you got to open those motherfuckers. All right. Last thing we're going to talk about is dead space. So say there's a couch over here, right? And there's a chair right here, and there's a refrigerator in this corner where they keep the cold beer, and there's a big TV stand right here with a TV on it, okay? Now, when I'm doing my pan and I'm coming around, I'm not just staring into an empty room. I have to take into account that somebody could be behind that chair. Somebody could be inside this refrigerator. Somebody could be behind that chair. Somebody could be over on the other side of this. Which means if the situation dictates that I should or I'm allowed to pre-fire, that's where I'm going to shoot. I'm going to come around. I'm going to see this chair. I'm going to pump some rounds into that chair. Right? I'm going to see this couch. I'm going to pump some rounds into that couch. I'm going to see this fridge. I'm going to pump some rounds into that fridge. I'm going to see this. I'm going to pump some rounds into this. Okay? And then after I've shot all that furniture up and nothing's happened, then I'll make entry into that room. If I go and I shoot some of this furniture up and I start hearing shit, then I'm going to toss a grenade in there. And then the grenade's going to go off and I'm going to shoot some more shit in there. And then I'm going to wait. And I'm going to see if anything happens before I go into that room. All right? Also, even after we do all that, we shoot those pre-fires, we throw our grenades, that shit is still there. So when we come into the room and we try to do our thing, it's going to be difficult. And we're gonna literally be like Hold, he's going to say, cover me so I can clear all this dead space. Because all this back here and all this back here is dead space. He doesn't want to just come up here like this, because there could be a guy back here. There could be a guy back here with a knife. Stab, stab, stab. Right? Real world considerations. It's not just an empty room. All right. We're going to talk about not crossing danger areas inside of a room, which is another reason why you shouldn't be doing CQB unless you've got like 30 plus dudes. All right. So you have 2 dudes. You come into this room and you clear it. What you're going to do is you're going to be stuck here. He's going to be holding on this open danger area because he doesn't know what else is down this hallway. Anybody could come out of the bathroom and start walking down this hallway at any moment. So he's going to communicate. Open hallway, left. I'm holding security on it. Same thing for him. He's going to say open doorway, right. Into the kitchen or whatever is over here, right? The living space. Neither of these guys can move now. For them to advance anywhere, they're going to have to call more dudes up. A minimum of 2 more dudes, right? So he could come, he could cross, and he could hold like this, and these guys could come and clear this room, these 3 dudes, and he could be stuck here holding. But then if they want to come down that way, they're going to have to call another 2 dudes. So now he can go that way. Now it's 6 people just to get past the first room into the second level of the house. If this is a 2-story house, if this is a condo, if this is an apartment, if this is a duplex, if this is a Walmart, you need like 50 fucking people to properly clear the building. Because each time a room splits, you need another team to go down that split and at least to leave 1 guy to hold security, if not have a second team to push down both ways. As well as having dudes on security on the outside, an inner and an outer cordon to make sure nobody comes in or out of the building. Or if this is a contested area like Fallujah style, then we're going to have other elements that have already cleared other buildings, suppressing and isolating the building we're in. Again, so if this is you and your, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 homies, you probably should not be planning on going into a building and clearing it. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is communication. You need to be communicating the whole time. You need to be communicating what you see. So you go into a room, left clear, right clear, or left open hallway. I got a couch and a chair on the right. Cover me while I clear the dead space. Okay, cool, dead space cleared. How are we going to take this hallway down? We need to call another team in. Okay, call them in. All right, you take point and go down the left side of the hallway. I'll take Albert and we're going to go down the right side of the hallway. Right, you need to communicate and walk through each step. And once you make entry into a place, you need to communicate the problems you see and how you're going to deal with those problems. Yeah, I'm sorry if this video is a little all over the place. CQB is like a massive subject that I really didn't even want to fucking touch. But I wanted to cover it in its base levels, right? That's how you clear some simple rooms. It's how you handle a hallway. Those are some considerations for CQB. Ultimately, fucking avoid it. Wait outside and shoot them when they come out to fucking take a piss in the morning, burn that building down, whatever, ruin their water supply and make them leave the area. Do something besides try to go in there like you're a fucking SWAT Team 6 and clear the building. All right, kids, stay groovy. That's CQB. Don't die.